Go already.
Don't tell me what to do.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, hey, that sounded really familiar. First, I thought you had muted
Is
the
it that
TV.
big of a lag?
Yeah, that's weird. But you might be slowing it down by being on the server with the same phone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stop it.
Every time we start a show, it's like, hey, the gigabytes aren't as good as,
Dude, just do your show.
Let a couple guys get on. I'm sure we'll have
4 or 5.
4 or 5 people on tonight. Yeah, let's let him get the... God, my 8-year-old daughter runs through it. Sounds like Godzilla's. That's awesome.
We should have showed the camera.
Yeah. So Emma has become a fashion model of Barbie doll dresses and accessories, and she's getting very good. And she's using balloons to do it. That's awesome, dude.
I cut off the top and then
High five.
I cut 2 holes on each side and then just stuck them through.
Watch out, Louis Vuitton, huh? So what are you doing? Going through your contact list?
No, you're good. I was just making sure everything was there. This is where he passes out.
Those are awesome. Whoa, I just got a freebie.
Yeah.
That's what you call a freebie, baby.
Guys, let me show you something.
Oh, okay. Don't do what I just did.
Yeah.
We're done with that.
Hey, this is...
Emma, we're done with that. Okay, do it one more time. That was awesome.
Germ warfare.
Okay.
Bye.
Welcome everybody to episode 16. When I set out to do the show on my own, and I went back to my original name with what I do in RC, Judd's RC Motorsports didn't just mean drag racing. A lot of what you're going to see tonight actually can pertain to drag racing, and we will talk about some of the parts that we're going to use that actually transfer over and are some of the things you want to have on your car if you're drag racing a traxxas-based vehicle. But tonight's episode is on what, Rich?
RC cars.
Yeah, well, you got it out, right?
RC drag cars, like sand cars.
Sand cars.
Anything that has to do with dirt drag racing.
Yeah. So this kind of car that we're going to show you is we're going to show you on the cheaper end on how to build one of these. I've had a lot of people reach out and say, man, what are you guys using for this or for that? This looks really fun. These will work in the mud, even though they're crazy to clean in the mud. They'll work in loose dirt. They'll work in gravel. They'll work in sand, like we're going to go do to the beach tomorrow. Deep
Sand, not so much. If it's dry, deep, soft sand.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's talcum powder or hot cocoa that's powdered form, I mean, it's gonna work. You never know. Big old mountain of hot cocoa. So let's see. So we got a couple people on here. We're gonna go for it. I want to give a shout out to some of my sponsors. Obviously, Paul Peterson at Shark RC Bodies. He's working fervorously. We usually talk every day, if not every other day. And for the last 2 weeks, we've talked very little due to the fact that I'm really busy and he's just pounding out Trans Slams. So Trans Slams are being boxed up. Literally, imagine a 200 box wall inside somebody's house. That's what his house looks like right now. So if you're waiting for a Trans Slam, they'll be on their way. I want to give a huge shout out to my team, my Shark team. It's awesome having this group of guys and gals we've made some changes recently. But for the most part, we're enjoying what we do and we're having fun. It's a group of guys that I was able to help bring together and have them all make friends with each other, just being on the same team together, and it's been really cool. So I want to give a huge shout out to Steve Villanueva of R1 and everything he does for me for the drag side of RC. I love the products. I believe the car that won recently in Colorado, I think it was an R1 powered car, so that's kind of awesome. I'm hoping to do some stuff like that come soon. We haven't had a lot of racing happen around our area. And, you know, I personally, I don't know how some of these guys go to Colorado, then Texas, then Florida. I don't know how. I couldn't do it. I mean, I'm a single dad with 2 kids. I work 60 hours a week for the police department. I'm on call 24 hours a day. I just don't know how. I would love to do that, but...
Time and dedication.
Yeah, the money I'm making at the PD kind of outweighs having to do that stuff sometimes, you know. So, but we're gonna get back into some racing here. We're doing a lot of testing. We got some hot stuff in the oven as far as with the 22S and some other stuff I'm working on. And tonight's is kind of a fun night. We're gonna go through and show you guys. I actually went down to my local hobby shop, Jake's Performance Hobbies, yesterday, and I bought just the cheapest run-of-the-mill slash with a VXL. You want to buy the one with the brushless system to do what we're doing. And we'll get into that in a minute. I want to give a huge shout-out to Dave Enstrom at DE Racing Tires. Great tires, great products. If you haven't tried DE, get out there and get yourself some Street Outlaws, some accelerators for the front. And I want to give a huge shout-out to Roy Offenbacher of Papa Bear 3D. He's cranking stuff out. I think my wall mounts for some of the cars I have are just came in, so we'll get those up and maybe we'll do it behind me or maybe right here against the wall or something. That'll be cool. And other than that, you know, this is kind of I feel like sometimes there's so much friction on the internet and so much of this is on the internet that sometimes we just need to release and go do something else. And I'll believe it, I have fun doing drag racing. If I didn't have fun doing it, then I wouldn't have been doing it as long as I've been doing it. But believe it or not, you go out to a nice beach where there's a little bit of moisture in the sand, you got a little dig, and you bring out something like this, it really is. It's one notch even more fun over drag racing because it's like drag racing plus you got hit in the eye with sand.
Oh yeah, you're throwing that sand everywhere.
So we'll get into that in a second. I want to give a huge shout out to Jake Rosen at Jake's Performance Hobbies. You can reach them Tuesday through Saturday at 707-586. It'll be like the ball. 3375 at 707-586-3375. In September, if you live around Northern California, for people like Chris Silva and stuff that live more down towards the you know, South Bay or middle of California or whatever, we are lucky enough in Sonoma County to have something that happens once a year. It didn't happen last year, obviously, because of Wu Flu. But and I think I've been 5 or 6 years in a row. I even sold one year. Me and Matt Kidd did. My buddy, who's a pro racer, we went to there and rented a couple tables, and we brought a bunch of stuff there, and we made out like bandits. It is a full-on hobby swap meet. Anything from helicopters to boats to airplanes to race cars to tubs of tires to motors. I mean, if you're an avid RC enthusiast and you do stuff other than drag racing and other than drag racing, you know, crawling, anything like that, it's like an expo hobby swap meet, and it's up at the Veterans Memorial Building up in Santa Rosa. And so I want to get this out there for maybe it'll help get some more people in the door, but it usually is cracking. There's people there at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we probably see 10,000 people come through all day long. It's pretty big. So if you mark the calendar, it's September 19th, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I don't know whether that's a Saturday or Sunday, but be there for it. If you're into RC and you want to walk out with some cool stuff that normally you would maybe be able to afford, or something that was hard to find, or something they don't make anymore, this is the place to do it. So Jake last time brought, I don't know, like 6 tables worth of stuff, and I was like, man, he's going to have to pack all that shit. At the end of the day, he had everything sold. He was selling the totes the stuff came in. So it's a big swap meet. You want to come out, and especially since we skipped a year, you got all those vendors that went 2 years stocking up stuff. So this is going to be a freaking killer show to go to. If you're in Northern California, Lake County, Solano County, Marin County, any of the counties, hell, if you're in LA and you don't have anything like this in LA, come on up on September 19th at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and come to the swap meet. So, and that goes along with my shout out for Jake Rosen, the owner of Jake's Performance Hobbies. I know I've been, battling for a year and a half online with hundreds of hours worth of video. Support your local hobby shop. Jake's my local hobby shop. So I want to always give a huge shout out to Jake Rosen, the owner of Jake's Performance Hobbies, and all the guys, Tim Terry, Hunter Stewart, the guys that work there and make a lot of my stuff happen. So come on out and show your support. I think it's like $2 to get in last year or something like that.
Says it on there.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I don't have any. Right there.
You
Boom.
should.
See? Strategically placed. You spend $10 at the dollar store. Bam. And where there was once no vision, there was vision. So tables are $15. $15 reserve. $20 the day of the swap. Tables and chairs are provided. Limit 3 tables per seller this year. Blah, 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 blah. So $3 per person to get into the door. 12 and under get in for free. And again, that's September 19th, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Come on out to this swap meet, dude. If you guys are into RC, you just got into it, and you're eager to look for some cool stuff that's not just drag. If you've been into it for a long time and maybe you got a project sitting there and it's a hard to find part, this is a good place to find stuff, guys.
That's the Vets building across
it's
from
the
the
Vets
Santa
building.
Rosa Fairgrounds.
Yep, across from the world-renowned Santa Rosa Fairgrounds, where they have the huge horse track. And now I look like I'm looking through space or something at you because it's too far away. So we'll keep these here because I'll need them. Let's Ninja Star that up there. We went out 2 or 3 weeks ago to the beach and we had a blast. We spent 3 or 4 hours out there, and one by one all our cars broke. I still ran probably 3 battery packs through my car. I took out a spur gear. We're 32 pitch now. We had a guy named John with us, and John was sending it across the pond. That thing must have taken a dunk in the ocean water 19 times, and it still pulled it out and kept running. So this is something that if you build it right, you can still build it cheap. You can have fun. I don't know if you live next to a beach, you're an hour away. We're about 45 minutes from the beach.
Okay, yeah.
And we're lucky enough to have a beach, but you might have like an old rock quarry or with dirt or something like that. And we had eventually had set out to do actually 8th mile 66-foot drag races. But what we've actually found that's even more fun is a drag race down around a cone and then a drag race back. And that just seems to be fun. I think that's probably why our cars are ending up in the drink. But maybe we'll have to shift it over differently or something tomorrow. But this is what we're going to build. So this is a shark body topped, traxxas based. I used to have the sand rail front rib on the front, but we actually found the buggy wheels or the drag wheels work really, really good for cutting in the sand for steering. This was Emma's first drag car that was converted into a paddle car. It is really, really basic. This has more in it than you'll ever need, and we'll get to that in a second. But what this has, this is a double-deck G10 extreme chassis that's been narrowed down up here, probably because it got wrecked at one point and broke the little ears like they all do. Excuse me. It's got an RPM transmission in it, and it was set up to be a drag car, and it didn't take much to convert this over from a drag car. I put the bumpers on there mainly because they're pink. It doesn't really need them. The sand is really forgiving on cars, and if you go somewhere you're not, a lot of people go, but yeah, sand is so hard. You say, we run sealed bearings. The end of a Valenian motor is sealed. I mean, we didn't have anything happen out there as far as wear. We had things out there happen because we hit tree logs and we sent them into the ocean, but we didn't have anything that the sand hurt. And if you run somewhere where there's a little bit of moisture in something, then it's even better because the stuff doesn't really dust up into stuff. But this is basically just a short course traxxas based vehicle. I got these actually are the new sand paws that are from, I think they're called sand paws. Yeah, sand paws. And you used to be able to buy the tires and you glue them on 2.2 rims, and they've actually changed them. I think they're 3.0 now in the same tire, and this is the only way that they offer them. They've discontinued them without the rim. You can only get them already pre-glued on the rim, which we'll get on here in a minute, because that's the tire and rim setup that we're going to run on this Slash right here. But I had a couple other paddle cars, and they were kind of old. And even though they were in mint condition, I couldn't bring myself to run them in the sand and make them not mint anymore, and run the risk of not being able to find a replacement part or something like that. So I sold them this week. And with the money, I turned around and I bought something that I know I can get parts at Jake's from. I know that's going to be durable, and it's going to be cheap as heck to get in the door. So you don't have to build a full one like this. This is just, and there's nothing special. This one will be just as fast as this. This just has a Valenian in it. That's it. Sand drags. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. I didn't get to this. What's up, Dale Perkins and Brandon Small and Will Shepard and Bradley Matos, Todd Kirkwood. What's up, guys? So, like I said, this was her drag car, and it wasn't getting used because at the time I was really bitter at what some of the things that had happened to me in NPRC, and I was ready to walk away about 8 months ago. And I was only at it for about a month, and I was like, you know what, I'm not done with this. So at that point, we built Emma a new car, and this just stayed a paddle car. So we're going to show you what it takes cheap-wise to build one of these paddle cars. And now, granted, this also, some of the stuff we're going to be putting on this car, this has to do with some drag car stuff. And it also has to do with, you don't have to go out and buy a brand new $300 Valenian Slash to do this. You can take any short course. Proline actually makes smaller paddle tires for buggies, two-wheel drive buggies. So you can bring an old Losi 2.0 out to the beach. You can bring,
anything with spare parts, anything.
Yeah. So
some paddle tires.
Let's set this away over there. And we have an unopened. I need the razor blade up there, please. That should be a razor. Thanks, sir. We have an unopened Slash that we're going to open right now. The only thing I'm not going to run in this box is the body, because it's brand new and I'm going to go out tomorrow and I'm going to ruin it. This is a basic high center. Now, you might say, why aren't you the LCG? Well, because then I would be spending more money and more work to do this. We want to show people how easy this is to do with just a stock Traxxas truck. And you can do this with anything. You can bolt these on anything that has these tires on anything that has a 12 millimeter hex. So whether you have an old losi pickup hanging around, or an old Associated, or an old Yokomo, or whatever, it works. So we're going to pull this brand new truck out. And there was a guy, it was John. John had actually, I picked it up and looked at it because it ran so good. I wanted to see what was up with his car, and I picked it up. It was a high center of gravity chassis Traxxas, dude. Garbage. There it is. We're even going to use that radio. We don't need to get into any. So if you would be so kindly, Rich. So this is a, although this body would look bitchin' at the beach, huh? Maybe we'll run it. I don't know. This is nothing special. This is a high center of gravity Slash. I spent a couple extra bucks and got the Valenian. Now you don't have to, we're running these off of 3S because we like the speed. But a 2S, they're very, very, very healthy on 2S as well. So we're going to do a couple things here. I bought a couple of things here. So the only thing I'm going to change out is something that, this is what I mean why tonight's show would transfer over. I've seen people that are newcomers and stuff ask, hey, what axles should I run in my Traxxas car? Yes, you can run MIP CVDs. Yes, you can run that. You're going to pay 80 or 90 bucks for those axles, and they're heavy as shit. So what I've always run since day one, the second I came across them 3 years ago, these are the 6852 Atom Rustler rear X-Duty axles, and they are just like a normal Traxxas axle design. It's just a grooved slip axle or universal joint, double universal joint axle but it's really, really big and heavy duty. So I've never, I put a lot of power through these for a lot of the years with the Ghost and stuff, and run after run after run. They never even the holes in the pins don't open up. I mean, they're good axles. What also makes them good axles is I got $24 for the whole set. So left and rear, I got $24 into it.
Left and rear?
Huh?
Left and rear?
I mean, left and right. Left is right and right is left. They're symmetrical, but for a left and a right, I have a total of $24 into the assembly.
Don't know his left foot from his rear foot.
That's right. So the reason why we're going to start off when putting these axles in this car is the fact that we're not running this thing on 2S tomorrow morning. We're going to run this thing on 3S. It's going to be 3S only. We can run it on 2S, but this is what I want to do. I don't want to get all the way out there and have a lot of fun for a half a battery pack and then snap an axle. So we're just going to take the stock slash ones out. We're going to ditch them. The other thing I bought is the same wheels on the other car. And these are the brand new Proline Sand Paws. And you're thinking, oh, how's that going to fit a 12 millimeter hex? Well, there's a hub that goes on. And I'll show you that because the hub actually is really cool. They give you two options of wheel offset, depending on what you run. So, the first thing we're going to do is let's, I don't know how much charge is in that, so I'm just gonna save. I've only bought one slash in my whole life. I've always put all my traxxas cars together piece by piece, and it was that 4x4 slash platinum, which was really, really nice. And no matter what we did to it, I don't know, something about the traxxas four-wheel drives, no matter what we did, we need axles and bearings every battery pack. We had to show up to run them in the morning.
My 4x was the same way.
Stacks of bearings. We tried MIP CVDs. We tried the stock ones. We tried... Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get in here and I'm going to take these axles off real quick. I'm going to grab the pin that holds them on, and then I'm going to ditch. Is there an easier way I can get in here with this? Hello, beautiful.
Made another tail one here.
I made another one? Oh, I'm going to need a little orange flathead over there.
Look, Daddy.
Oh, it's a mermaid tail. Nice.
I haven't made the top yet.
So with the new axles, we're going to reuse everything. How they have it shimmed, the original hexes. I believe this one even already has a... that's what we're replacing. That is the weak point in a traxxas vehicle. We want to be able to... run this thing with this instead. And as you can see, the shaft and bore are thicker. The ears on the yokes are thicker. The balls are thicker. The pins are thicker. Everything's just bigger and better on this axle. So let's go ahead. And what I'm going to do is put my tie rod up. I can't get it to stay because it's a stock one. And I'm going to twist this. Come on, Dan. It's hard to work on the truck in a position that shows you guys what I'm doing. Why is that not working on there?
Turn it.
Okay. I'm going to take the pin.
It'd be cool to sing, turn a flashlight on, but I'm not turning it on. Oh.
So basically what we just did, and we're already done with, one side almost, is the X-Duty axle upgrade. It's that easy to work on these things. There's no reason why anybody running anything traxxas should ever get scared of anything. And they're really durable cars, you know. They're not. I don't think they're. I wouldn't consider them especially in this form, true, small tolerance race cars, I'm going to put my shim back on my axle. There's also one behind there, but it never came off the bearing, so you didn't see it.
Could be a good reason why they're very durable,
and the
too.
best thing that Traxxas ever made, their #1 accomplishment in life. I'm about to show you. Hold on a sec. Why is that pin so... That's odd. Is on just about everything, if you don't have aluminum and you have plastic hexes, like the new Losi 22S or probably the DR10, I don't remember what it had on it when I took the wheels off a year ago. But these hexes actually, listen, you hear that snap? That thing doesn't come off now. It's just on there. So until I get something to pry it from behind, it's just going to stay there. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. And I think that this thing is set up to run 2S. And I believe it comes with a bigger pinion gear in it. And if it does, we're going to throw the bigger pinion gear on it. There's something else. All you really need is the paddles and this right here. So, sand cars are notorious for lifting the front end up. They wheelie really hard. And we just got, I had Rich, because I don't have anything to cut it here, even though I have the plastic. We made these out of black ABS. It's what I used to build real road race car splitters with. And basically, it's like, what, a 14-inch piece, 15-inch piece or something?
Yeah, once it's mounted, it's like a 12-inch bar.
Okay. And we've drilled the rear transmission, the 6 bolts out for the transmission on the Traxxas. It's the same with the Traxxas Slash and the Bandit. We drilled that whole pattern out and countersunk it, and we'll be replacing those screws in the vehicle with longer screws while we add this. And this is just going to be a flexible wheelie bar for on the sand, so the thing, every time we go to wooded on 3S, it doesn't flip over backward. Because they are notorious for doing that with... Now let's see if the trick is if I can get to the axle on this one without having to take anything else off. Yep. This one's hard to show, so let's just knock the axles out and get the axles done. Did you find a pinion gear?
Yeah.
Holy crap, that thing's big, dude.
It is.
That thing's huge. I need to open up the other axle set. And we're going to put the inner on this one on first because it's just easier. The other one I can get to right from the top, but this other one over here, because the gear case and the gears are in the way, I have to get through the suspension like this, and that's how I have to get at the axle. So we are going to just use the inner and then slip it all together. So, okay, it's on. Now I need to put the pin back in it. Okay, the pin's in. Screw it in. You don't want to over tighten the axle screws on these. You just get them just barely snug, and they don't come out. So let's get the other X Duty axle in. That is not it. This is it. We still have, see the one shim right here that goes in the back, and there's the same one in the front. So it's shim, bearing, bearing, shim. And we're going to retain all that stock Traxxas stuff. We want to make this easy. Let's put the pin back in it. Now we're going to snap our hex back in it. And once I do that, I know that I can let go of that axle and work on anything on the car, and it ain't going to fall off I don't know, you know, guys that used to run losi or anything that has had the plastic hexes on other manufacturers, they slip off, then your pin comes out, and if you don't lose anything else, shim-wise or bearing-wise, then you always find out when you find your hex laying on the ground, and then you're like, crap, where's my pin at? I've had that happen to me before. Let's put the camber link back on. Are you going where no man has ever gone before and reading the instructions to a slash?
Well, believe it or not, traxxas gives you a generic pinion gear with no numbers or anything on it. But
really?
They do give you a sheet that tells you what they include in the kit. So it's a 28 tooth
Holy
pinion.
crap.
Yeah, and the one that's on it right now, I believe is a 19.
That's a big jump, dude.
It's either a 19 or a 23.
Well, I hope it doesn't... Well, that's another thing, too. When we go out to the beach, when it's 90 here, just 45 minutes away at the beach, it's 65. And when you go in the morning, the motors don't... We put fans and everything on my other car, and we didn't need it.
You're not dealing with any heat.
Wait a minute. There's no way that's going to fit on there. It's already maxed out.
What?
And most Raider runs, they got no mesh in it. Oh, it's traxxas, man. They got mesh in half of it. Okay, well, we're going to leave the gear alone because I can't move it anyway, so... Let's, I always like to go over, I've seen these back out before, so I'm going to go and just double check the production worker's work. Oh, I got a little bit off of that one. A little bit off of that one. Okay, and we're in the sand, so I'm locking this bitch down. Okay, and that's it. Let's put this thing back together. Okay, put the screw back on. A lot of people have asked me in the past couple of years, well, Dan, what do you do with those stock axles? Because they're like, I mean, they're still brand new. And I tell them, you know what these are really good for? That's what they're good for. They're junk.
That was a filing cabinet, by the way, you guys.
Two-wheel drive traxxas, anything, the X-Duty Rustler rear axle, the only way to go. Only way to go. Okay. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our beautiful wheels here. Throw them away. Now, here's what I was talking about before. Get all the screws out. This is one hub for the back of these paddle tires, which is the one we're going to use. And here's another one. Oh, you know what? That car's got banded arms on the back. So the wide ones are going to make it super wide. So you know what? I have to figure this out. Let's see what it looks like. I don't know, dude. Those are pretty wide, bro. I don't know. Huh?
The ones I mounted on that you gave me,
Yeah.
that are like this,
Yeah.
they're wide too. I'm going to try them that way. It might give you
But
some more stability.
Didn't you have banded arms in the back?
I mean, yeah, but it's still
Well,
super wide.
if it fits under the body,
That's the only problem.
then that's what I'll use is the wide ones. Let's try it.
I mean, that's a lot of stability.
So we're going to bolt the hubs on, because if they do work, I don't have to unbolt them. I can just bolt the tires to them. Okay. Get the flashing off of here. Put these guys on. I just don't want them to hit the body, because with paddle tires, you think the front of one of these rubbing on a tire will take paint stuff off? You just wait. You go put a paddle tire on a Lexan body. Okay, so what we can do. Question is am I going to use a truck body? Yeah, screw it. We'll use a truck body. So let's see what that truck body looks like on here. You want to get it and come over and set it on?
This one here?
Yeah. Okay, it's on right now. That's how wide it's going to be. Wow, that's wide. That thing's going to fly, dude.
Yeah.
We're going to have to jack the back of that body way up. You having trouble, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to work. That is not going to work. Okay, so let's see if we jack the back of this body up. If it'll work. If not, we'll have to go with the other hubs.
Yeah, you can always cut the back end of the body off to leave it all bare if you want to throw rooster tails.
Well, I can go up a lot with this body mount. But anytime you can get the paddle tire outside the body, it's just better. So for anybody who wants to do this, we're going out to Bodega Beach at Salmon Creek, and that's where we're going to be running them. You're more than welcome to come out. I should have had you grab the ball head one on these, so I wouldn't have to bend the shock tower forward. But screw it, I'm almost done now.
Was it a 2? 2.5?
2. I'm gonna go way up. I'm only gonna use one screw. I'm going all the way to the top.
Sure it's a 2?
Positive it's a 2.
Sure.
Oh yeah. So much better. We're going way up. How far are you going up? As up as it'll go.
All the way up.
And then we're gonna put all kinds of freaking ride height in this
Just
thing.
when you thought you're all the
We're
way
gonna
up.
jack it up like a redneck. That's how we found runs best. Okay.
Put different tires on the front, or you leave those ones?
I'm just going to leave these on the front. Screw it. So, all we've done is put the X-Duty axles on and the hub so far. We checked the gear. We can't move it up and bump it up a gear. I think that that would require using a much smaller spur. There's just no way. There's no way.
What spurs on it?
A big one. Like an 87, 86.
You don't know what it was?
I don't know.
This is all with 86.
But let's start screwing the wheels together. Just like that. And why don't you take your phone and see if anybody's got any questions or anything, because I haven't been watching it.
No, you haven't.
There you go. Okay, we're going to put 2 on each side and then do one more dry fit. Oh. Okay, well I dropped that screw.
Michael says the pinion will fit. It should fit. It's only 23.
It won't. I'm telling you. The motor's already shoved back all the way against the slot, and that's 10 teeth more. There's no way. There's no freaking way. Unless there's a different bolt pattern in the motor.
It's only 5 teeth more.
Well, didn't you say this was a
19?
19?
23 to 28.
Oh, I thought you said it was a 19.
Well, I said it could be a 19 or a 23, but I'm looking on her stock is 23, so I mean it'll probably fit under there. But you know what? The one that's in there is plenty with 3S battery.
Yeah. Well, I
run an 8620, I think an 8621.
right off the bat, somebody might think, well, you know what, dude? You're not biting the ground, so there's not as much load on the wheel. But you are, because you have shovels on your tire. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it bites.
And there she is. She's huge. Now, as far as the shark body, We're just pushing it right to the limit, baby. But that's for the other car. Let's see.
What's up, Brandon? Ricky Jug and Scott Eckhart.
See, it's perfect.
Chris Silva's on here.
What's up, Chris?
Corey Lively.
So this is perfect. It's gonna be.
This
is gonna have a real wide rear end, which is awesome.
Okay.
Huh?
I go to Mermaid Tail.
It's perfect. Let me show everybody Emma's mermaid tail. My daughter's been making clothes and stuff for Barbies out of balloons. And she made a full halter top and a mermaid tail. That's pretty good. I like it. We'll be done in a couple minutes. So, I took a bone stock high center of gravity slash, which works great out there. I'll attest to John's car being the quickest thing out there. And we've bought a stock slash. We got a brand new one because I didn't have a second one, and that's what this is for. It's just primarily the beach. We bought $40 worth of Proline tires. We bought $24 worth of H-duty axles because we are running it on 3S. So, let's do the one last mod we're going to do to this car. And we're going to... Oh, you know what I got to do really quick? I got to get the rest of the screws in the wheels.
What's that, Dan?
Here, this will only take a minute. You want to help me load these into the wheels? What's on? My battery's dying. So, there, I got the 12mm hex. I ended up using the wider one. Two of these screws are too small. Oh.
We got one.
Yeah, those two screws are too what I'm going to use. Since you had that bag open, you want to grab me some ride height spacers? These tires are by Proline. They're called Sand Paws for $40. You get everything you need. The wheel, the tire, glued together. Two different offset of hubs. Okay, now the wheels are complete. The X-Duty axles are in. This thing is ready to go to the beach, dude.
What do you want, thick? Start with thick?
Wow, what kind of fluid's in the front of this thing? Yeah, let's go with the thickies. I want to keep that ride height. You know, if you had a piece of beach that you owned and you could bring a tractor out there and drag it perfectly flat, then yeah, I'd lower the car down. But let's face it, we're going to a public beach. We're going to need some ride height, and that will keep ride height even with the battery in it. The front end will come down, which is fine.
Keep that body away from those tires too.
Yeah, absolutely. So the last thing we're going to do is you want to peel that off. You had tape on it for layout. We are going to remove these transmission screws. Now, I've had people that have seen my sand drag say, you know, why are you using a flat bar? Why not the wheels? Well, because we're dragging it through sand.
Although I'm going to try wheels tomorrow.
Are you really?
Yeah, the big ones that I got.
Well, I'll see that might work. Unless the wheel,
big front wheels. The
wheel throws the chassis off. I don't know. It could work. It might not. But
we'll find out. Let's see what happens.
The flat plate out the back for sand or dirt just made sense. I mean, it's. So we're going to take this that we built. Oh no, I need longer ones. I need that one. I need that one. I need that one. And that one. How much longer are these? Oh, what? They're not countersunk, but you know what? I don't care. Well. And before we tighten these, here, do you want to do the rest of this real quick? Just be careful when you go all the way in with the big ones, that you get them with the head sticking out about that far, because I haven't actually measured it all out yet. And then just feel for different torque patterns.
I'm trying them all, dude.
Just drive them home.
They're perfect. You need shorter ones for the middle.
Okay, we're almost done. Okay.
This one's okay. These front ones are okay. I think you need shorter ones for
What are they
here.
got enough freaking toe out in this thing? Or toe in? Let's see what?
These ones need to be shorter. You can't
Okay.
have the long ones in the back.
Well, I didn't know, so yell at me.
A little bit shorter. These ones might work, actually.
They're just too. You're gonna have to give me my big one here. But this is what we're doing here, though. We're putting the big old plate on the end, and that helps. That really does help it when it comes up to not blow over backward, because and there's nothing more frustrating than knowing your sand cart has more power. If you could just lay it down and it wouldn't. When you got to full throttle, it didn't flip over backward. And so that's what this is for. We don't want to go through that aggravation tomorrow. We want this thing just to go out there and work. And it's going to. So that's pretty much it. We got any questions out there? Probably not, but we'll check. So like I said, man, we just bought a stock slash, high center of gravity. It had the VXL in it. We're going to run it on 3S. We put the X-Duty axles under it. We built the bar for the back. You know, you don't have to make it out of plastic. You can make it out of carbon fiber. You can make it out of wood. You can make it out of fiberglass. You can make it out of aluminum. Just about anything. So, we're good?
Anything.
Anything.
No questions.
Okay.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. So this is what we're going to do. If anybody's got anything at all, there's no classes. We ain't got no rules. Just come out and have fun and giggle. And if you guys are, you live local, or you guys are watching this and you guys want to come out Sunday, tomorrow, we are going to be going out to Salmon Creek, where the Cliff parking lot is, with the bathroom at the end. And we're going to be going right down there next to the bathroom, and that's where we run these. So
throw the body on there.
Yeah, let's throw the body on it. Let's see what's that.
Does battery fit?
All right. Oh,
Does battery fit?
probably.
Let's see if it weighs the car down.
Yeah, let's do it. So we went with an extremely large battery with it. This is an 8,000 milliamp 3S 100C. This thing's gonna rip with this pack on it. I don't even know if it'll fit in this chassis. And I'm probably gonna have to take that out, right? Oh, maybe not. I think it's gonna be too tall for that.
Wow.
That's a big pack, dude. Yeah, well, that isn't going to work, so we're going to have to. I'll tape it on.
We
the
have to figure
chassis,
something
I don't care. Yeah, the stock. Now, if I had a regular 3S pack, it would fit right in there, but this is just this pack's really big. I recommend something like this because it's covered with G10 plates. So we're gonna bump and bang and go for broke out there tomorrow, and this is it's called a basher pack for a reason. So I'm not with Gens Ace. I have no affiliation with Gens Ace. I absolutely represent and in drag racing world recommend the 8,000 milliamp drag packs from R1. They're just the best things I have found in my testing. and I've tested all the big brands.
This was readily available.
This was readily available for tomorrow at my local hobby shop. These were $69.99 at Jake's. And this thing, I mean, we were running 5200 milliamp 3S with 50C. This is 4,000 more or 3,000 more milliamp with another 50C on top of it. So this is just going to be a bad son of a bitch tomorrow out at the beach. But yeah, it should be fun. So we'll button this thing up. I still got a connector to solder on for my plugs that I use on my beach cars. And other than that, it's done. It can get set aside. So I'm assuming at this point nobody's got any other questions. Thank you guys for watching us tonight. This is just something that we're doing in our spare time to have fun, and I kind of wanted to share. I've had a lot of people reach out to me about the drag cars. You know, what should I get? What should I start with? What wheels should I use? So I know Jake has got lots and lots and lots of sand paddles in stock. If you want to do this in your area and you don't live around us, go check out Jake's Performance Hobbies. Call him Tuesday through Saturday at 707-586-3375 and order some paddles. He ships them. So what would I do to a stock losi 69 Camaro to be fast? I've always had traxxas. You know, unfortunately, that's why I didn't buy the ready to run when I bought a losi to take apart on the show. That's why I bought the roller. If you want to hand me my roller real quick. Because I knew that I wouldn't be okay after I fooled around with the ready to run stuff for a little while. And for a beginner, it's a great car. But after a while, I'd want to push it. This is my losi 22S that is completed now. And I basically don't have anything that's ready to run in it. It has a Savox servo. You don't need that. You can run the stock servo. But I have an R1 Digital 3 with cat pack and a 3-turn in this. And that's, you know, that's the kind of stuff, you know, whether you go with an RX-8 and a 2.5 turn or this or that, I personally recommend the R1 Digital 3 and the R1 gear, but that's what you're going to need to do. You're going to have to rip the electronics out of that car, and you're going to have to go with some heavy hitting stuff. You can do that with R1. R1 is the Digital 3 ESC. They run about $250, and then these are about $40. The cat pack from R1 that's designed to work with this thing, and then the R1 motors. You know, you could do a 3.5, you could do a 4-turn, you could do a 3.5, a 3.0. You don't necessarily, to go fast, you don't necessarily need the $225 full-out drag build. It just has some nicer stuff in it. You can go with their $125, you know.
There's guys out there making nice fast passes
with
like
the stock
4.0
motors.
motors.
So, but what you're going to have to do, unfortunately, is you're going to have to rip the speed control, minimally the speed control and the motor out of it, and put heavy hitting stuff. The ESC that comes with the losi car is only 100 amp ESC. This is a 220 amp ESC. It's been wired with 10 gauge wire. It's got a really, really low turn motor. I think the one that comes with the ready to run is equivalent to like a 10.5 or something. This is a 3.5. So the lower the number, the lower the winds, the faster the motor is. So as you can see, there's you know, I also ditched all my plastic on the inside and kind of taken it upon myself to rearrange the electronics. This thing was on scales, and then I got the electronics right where I wanted them before sticking them down and marked them all out on the chassis where they go, and then I stuck them down. So this was minimal for me to be, you know, equal left and right. I have my receiver over there next to the cat pack, which is equaling out the difference. So the cat pack 60 and the ESC weigh the exact same, but you lose 12 grams heavier on the, or you gain 12 grams heavier on the ESC by putting the fan on it and a little bit more with the wire right here. So what I've done is added some other componentry, some chassis componentry next to the cat pack to even it out, which came out to be my, you know, my receiver wires and my antenna tube. Gave me a little weight, and having the receiver over here next to the cap kind of evened it all out. So it's little things like that that can win races. It's little things like that that can be the difference between having to pull your hair out with a race car or not. This thing's just going to be a rocket. I'm waiting for my Trans Slam body to go run it. This is going to be, this car's actually called the Excalibur. And yeah, so as soon as I get a body on it, we'll go run it. I don't run my cars without bodies because they just go way too fast. And when they flip, that body's a roll cage, you know? And I don't want this thing so pretty. It turned out so good. I don't want to wreck it. So, Anyway, I hope that answers your question. For no prep, nothing on the tire, nothing on the truck. I absolutely recommend the DE Street Outlaws. I think for a rubber tire, they're actually going to bite. You know, again, last week I had 3 or 4 people contact me and say, man, my car just does nothing but spin the tires. And I said, 2 questions. Number 1, are you running on prep tire track with your club, or are you running no prep? And they say the same thing. We run no prep. I've never seen or heard of a reaction running with no prep on it. These are tires that you heat and you goop up. You know, unless you got like some insanely crazy coarse road that grabs them, you know, that's you know, you need a softer tire. You need something that's actually going to bite to the ground or bite to a surface. And for that, I recommend the DE Street Outlaws. That's what I actually had on that car. That's a rear motor car. It's going to be run no prep. It's going to be my no prep killer. And that thing's got the DEs on. So I don't think I'll need anything more than those. Yeah, Ricky Shark Bodies, what's up? Chris Silva's watching. What's up, Chris? DE, you know, I really just, you know, I've heard this out there a couple times. People say, when is DE going to make a belted tire? I don't know what they're doing. I know that I run DE stuff on my car. I have, out of 6 drag cars, I have 1 mid-motor car that actually run reactions on it because it's just faster, because it's only a prep car though. So if I touch anything no prep, I got DEs on my car all the way around. Even the car I run the reactions on the back, I still got accelerators on the front, and I really wish the wheels were DE. And I think that there's with the name and the following of DE already, if they came out with something which is the next gen, like a Street Outlaw belted or something like that, I think they just make a killing at it. But there are times and places where, unfortunately, I have to take the rear DEs off of just one out of 6 of my cars, because without that taller tire, it just won't run the same. But as you can see, my 22S and my Patriot car and Emma's car, the Funky Monkey, they all have DEs on them. They're full DE cars. Those cars won't run anything else but DEs because they just flat out work. For no prep, I think DEs just got it in the market, because I can get a little bit better chassis rollout with my cars specifically. With the shorter tire, I add a little bit more gear to them, and they just, yeah.
Hype about Voodoo tires. What's the hype?
You know, I will say I'm a believer. A year and a half ago,
for a prep car,
anybody who's really followed me will say a year and a half, 2 years ago, I said, dude, what we need to do is take the reaction, Proline reaction belted process, and add it together with something like a Panther. Because at the time, the reactions were so freaking hard that I couldn't, no matter what I did to them. Because, well, and granted, I was running no prep. We're running no prep. They just would not work for no prep. So I tossed the idea to the wind. And I left the reactions in the dust. And reactions, I can get reactions to work at 70 miles an hour, but it takes a prep surface, or a prep tire. I'm not, you know, if you can get reaction to work with no prep, that's fine, but I can't. Now the Voodoo, what the Voodoo does is it gives you the same belting properties as the reaction. Fortunately, they have a tire that is softer. They make a softer compound, which means that it bites like a DE. I have witnessed this firsthand about a month ago here locally, and the 2 guys were the only guys that are running them, and I think that I probably had one of the next fastest cars under theirs, and I couldn't touch those cars. Those cars, they were just able to turn them up harder. And unfortunately, I'm not, until Voodoo comes out and says, you know, we're gonna, you know, 10-tuple production, nobody will have any problems with getting the tires. Do I think they're an advantage? Absolutely. I think they're an advantage on a prep surface. I don't know about no prep. I personally have never owned any. I've never even gotten a hold of any. You've seen this last shipment that came in. People that aren't really into the sport or don't, you know, bought too many. They're capitalizing on it, and they're selling some of the Voodoos here and there. And I finally got a guy who had some, and I called him just in time. I said, well, what do you want for him? He said $100 a pop. I said, absolutely not. I said, I'll just keep running what I'm running. because it's only one car that I use a tire like that on anyway. So I would never build, whether it's a real race car or a small race car or whatever. If it has race car in the name, I would never build a car based around something that I might not be able to get. And even then, the tires these guys are getting, they're being able to buy 2 or 6 pairs. That's not going to be enough. I want to know that I can plop down $500 or $600 and I can buy 20 pairs of these tires and not have to worry about running out of them. And we're not at that point with that company. As far as is the hype right there, yeah. And if it's not, it's damn near close it. I mean, they did what I wanted somebody to do a year and a half ago, and finally somebody did it, and they're having trouble keeping up with production. So. Do I think they make the best tire? I think that's debatable. I think that, maybe somebody's car is on point one night, they're running reactions. Other guy's having a little problem, voodoos, but he's running voodoos, so he's got that up on the game, and, the guy with the reactions could take it. That's what makes racing is anything can happen at any time.
Anytime.
You could be the fastest car and go through 17 rounds and get to that final and strip a spur gear. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen. So I won't say they're the best tire on the market. I think for no prep, I will say that I believe personally that DE is the best tire on the market. For prep, if you can get a set, they work really good. The hype's pretty good about them. I'd be so excited if DE decided to do something like this. And there's got to be a different way from keeping the tires. What did it say? Oh, okay. So anyway, let's see what else we got. I have some wide reactions. I haven't done any testing on them. I know that maybe that the manufacturing process isn't there right now. I'm seeing left and right people having them split down the centers. I don't know. I haven't tested mine, so I can't say if they're good tires or not. I don't know if the 1/4 inch extra of contact patch on them is going to outweigh the weight that they're putting on with a wider tire and a wider rim. I don't know yet, so I'm not quite sure. We got to do some testing. I have them glued, they're trued, they're balanced.
Well, look at the voodoos. They're not a very wide tire, but they create a lot of traction, and it's traction that you need. It's not the width of the tire. I mean, if you're sacrificing weight for traction,
yeah,
I mean,
it's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, totally. So I'm a DE driver and I use DE on all my stuff, but I will admit I got one car out there that to go that next level with it, it needs the reactions on it. And why do you use reactions? Well, because I can't get voodoos. And I wish I could run DEs on it, but I just can't. They're the next level. I can get my rear motor cars that run no prep to do very, very well next to what that car will do. But when it comes down to it, being able to use prep at a race, I'm sorry, that reaction or that voodoo is just going to step all over any tire, whether it's a raw speed or a Proline Prime or a DE Street Outlaw, anything that doesn't have a liner in it. It's gonna give way, because even if you get your car, I have my rear motor cars. I used to have them jackrabbit out of the hole and they just spin tire, and we were racing race cars that were basically who can do a controlled spin the best. Well, I have gotten away from that even with no prep, and I'm able to leave softer and then pour the power in. But at some point, no matter what, if you are running a real true no prep race, you're gonna have tire spin, and that's why true no prep cars won't pass 65 miles an hour, because that extra 10 miles an hour to get to 75 is being burnt off on the spin, no matter where it's burning it off, whether it's the beginning or it's the middle or it's, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have tire spin, and when it does, it's going to keep you from doing 70 plus. For every 10 times that tire spins on a no prep tire, that's an extra mile an hour faster than a prep tire is actually propelling the car forward. And that's what we want. You want a hook. You want a dead hook and be glued to the ground. There's a lot of stuff going on there. I know that there's another company. There's a chassis company out there. I forget. And they're developing something right now. And I know that there's another company that's getting ready to come out with a belted tire, I think. And we'll have to wait and see. Until then, my rear motor cars are all DE. I love DE tires. They work great. They're so fast. There's no point in touching them. But as far as my mid motor stuff, I got to run belted stuff because my company just doesn't make them, and there's nothing I can do about that. So
we know, Chris, you're fast.
We get it, Chris.
We get it.
Yeah. Let's swap tires, homie, and race again.
Hey, give me a set of your voodoos. Let's see what happens.
And we were just joshing with Chris. Chris just happened to get lucky enough to get in on the last pre-order, and you know what I'm saying. And he got a couple sets.
It's not only that. Those guys put in the work.
Well,
Those guys put in the work.
You're right, but we do too. We do too.
I know, but
here's the thing: to newcomers, it looks like I can see, because I've seen a lot of this being thrown around. They're only selling them, most of them, when they come in to certain people, and they only have so many of them. Only their factory drivers are getting. That's not it. I think that along with those people are waiting, and they maybe, I don't know if they get a word or not that they're ready, but they still got to buy them off the website like we do. Yeah. And the guys that get the rest of them are guys that I don't know if they're able at work to watch their phones when it happens, or they're hearing from somebody or what, but I work 60 hours a week, so I haven't gotten any because I wasn't there for the 7 minutes they were available. You know what I mean? If someone's got some and wants to do somebody right, I'll pay double for them, but I'm not paying $100 a set for them. I got to draw a line. I'll say keep them. It ain't worth it that much.
Anything that's new and cool coming out with this stuff.
I get it.
Jake got all those new drag train missions in, right? And I went by there to get some stuff, and I go, hey, I'll take one of those. And he goes, they're all gone.
We promoted that.
I just found out about it yesterday. He goes, yeah, they were gone that night.
Promoted that earlier in the week on Judd's, and I thought, because when I was in there Friday, I didn't see him. Yeah, I didn't ask him, but I didn't see him.
I saw the post the night before. I went in there the next day. They were all gone.
And a majority of them probably got boxed up and shipped out too. Yeah. You know, a lot of people from other states see on my page what I'm promoting.
That's crazy.
So that's good for him. He got rid of them, you know, that quick. Yeah. So I got to let that happen. So we will. Thank you, Scott. That would be really, really cool. We're going to let you guys go. Have a great weekend. We're going to go do some sand bashing tomorrow. Episode 16, Sand Drags out. Paul Peterson, Shark Body, Steve Villanueva of R1, Dave Enstrom of DE. We got Roy Offenbacher of Papa Bear 3D, and just everybody else. Kelly Purdy, Petaluma Muffler Works, all your exhaust and welding needs. And we'll talk to you guys next week. And next week we will have a new badass body sitting here, all painted up on the table, ready for your viewing eyes. So we're going to talk about the pros of the body and what we changed and why we changed it. You'll get to see it all cut out and painted on a car. And it'll be really awesome. So we'll see you guys next weekend. Thanks for joining us for episode 16. Please share this and go over to YouTube to Funky Monkey Judd, and please subscribe. And we're out. Peace.
Peace out.